In the past 10 years, an alarming 48 school shootings has been reported worldwide, primary through college. University of Texas at Austin, Columbine, and Virginia Tech are the three most publicized accounts of students who have taken the lives of others on a campus. Not until 2010 was there a study in which it showed that providing children with a better quality early child care experience may actually have lasting effects on their adult lives. The critical stages of human brain development happen from birth to 5, in which this can determine the path a person chooses to take in life. Where a child spends those crucial years and with who are exceptionally important. In this presentation, I will show you how the brain of a child develops and how the impact of a quality child care setting has on that development, and adversely how it can potentially damage society. Here's a basic model of the brain in the three main sections. This complex organ has many functions and many sub-areas. This adaptation from Stanford University best illustrates the areas we are concerned with for this topic. The base of the brain, which is referred to as the hindbrain, is the section here in olive. It is connected to the spine and is the originating point of creation of the brain at conception. It's responsible for breathing, sneezing, coughing, and various involuntary functions. Functions of the brain are not such that they can be taught and altered after birth, but the hindbrain is the center of the fight or flight response. The safety and insecurity that an individual feels when they experience that uh-oh feeling, when they encounter situations that are unfavorable, to determine whether or not they take a certain path. This area of the brain is nurtured from infancy as early as day 1 by a caregiver responding to their need for food or to be picked up. All of these actions add to the proper maturation of the hindbrain and can be properly tuned to prevent dire consequences in the future. The center section of the brain here in the dark brown is called the midbrain. It's the smallest section of the brain, and it is the most crucial responsibilities and functions of the brain. The midbrain at its conception is responsible for auditory and visual functions as well as motor skills of a human. According to Rubin, Peplau, and Selvoy, these functions occur before birth in the womb. Scientists have proven that a baby hears the voice of its mother in the womb, which is why it responds and reacts to the mother after its birth. Along with these involuntary functions in the midbrain houses the limbic system of the brain, which is the emotional core of the human, such as love and affection and aggressive behavior. When children are exposed to or display aggressive behavior without consequences or develop an understanding of those feelings, this area of the brain is geared to respond to that. The forebrain here in the khaki color is visibly the largest area of the brain. It is continually developing throughout a human's life and is responsible for sensory and thought processing. For every situation in every day of every life, we are constantly thinking and reanalyzing. Right now, most of you are probably multi-thinking about the information I've just shared with you as far as and what are you going to be doing next. Most importantly, the functions of the forebrain is the rational core of the human brain, which allows a human to encompass all of the brain's functions to make simple choices. This is why it is continually developing throughout life. All of this development in this complex organ takes place within the first 5 years of a human life. Think of the ramifications if this process were stalled or improperly nurtured at the right stages of development. A study from the National Institute of Child Health and Development, released in May of 2010, is the first ever scientific proof that there may be a benefit or not to children in a child care setting. The study found that children in a quality child care setting had better cognitive and language skills than those children who were not in a quality setting. Vandell states that the results showed that children who experienced higher quality care consistently showed somewhat better cognitive functions and language development, in other words, the ability to think, cognitive, and speak language, was better developed in those children in a quality care. Most families are dual income families working approximately 40 to 50 hours a week, which puts children in a child care facility for 50 to 60 hours a week or more. Care in those facilities range from minimal state requirements to nationally accredited facilities, both with little or no state or federal guidelines in place. The founder of Fight Crime, Invest in Kids says it best: when children don't get the right start in life, all of us are in danger. The crime rate and violence in America can be indirectly related to providing better quality education to children. Organizations such as Fight Crime, Invest in Kids are trying to provide an outlet for children in elementary on up to high schools to preventing direct gang-related activities that are the results of many violent crimes. Their aim to provide early intervention and better quality life skills is to lower the crime rate in America by reaching children at young ages of influence and understanding the proper functions of the brain and nurturing its growth and development. This organization has many branches in police departments in major cities of the U.S., like that of Washington, D.C. Police Chief G. Sweat said, "We need to start fighting crime in the high chair, not the electric chair." In other words, the right approach to preventing crime may be by providing quality education and upbringing in an early intervention approach. According to author Altman, a child's experiences from birth to 5 greatly determine their behavior later in life. Taking it to that level is the Harlem Project. The Harlem Project proved that by taking a city block by block and providing guidance and help throughout community intervention and assistance, not just with children directly, but with their families. Even before the children are born, they have programs that work with soon-to-be mothers to nurture them to be better parents. The Harlem Project has lowered the dropout rate of Harlem and increased graduating students substantially. Yet sometimes it can be undetected and unforeseen children that slip through the cracks. In closing, we have seen the brain as the epicenter of the human body and the critical time frame of development, the central processing unit, if you will, for all the functions of the body, voluntary and involuntary, must be molded and shaped in a rather short period of time. Choosing the right people and the right activities at the precise time in a child's life can reap benefits unforeseen at the moment. By bonding the community and family, some outreach programs like that of Harlem Project are providing early intervention and stimulating development. It does take a village to raise a child, one section of the brain at a time. Are there any questions?
How can one tell the difference between a quality child care center and an average or below average center?
Great question. Each state has minimal guidelines enforced by licensing bureaus or state-run agencies. Make sure that the centers that you're interested in are licensed and that they operate above guidelines. An added assurance that your center is in compliance and ever operating above standard is if it is accredited by a national organization such as NAEYC, National Association for the Education of Young Children. They have higher standards than any state.
How can it be determined that just because a center is in a compliance that they are providing the quality care to enhance brain development in children?
Good question. It cannot be determined that the center is providing quality care to enhance the brain development just because they're in compliance. An involved caregiver should research the center's curriculum to better understand what it entails, even if the caregiver needs to make sure that the center is following the curriculum to a degree, such as activities that promote healthy brain development.
Is there significant evidence that support quality child care in early childhood and a lower crime rate?
Excellent question, and unfortunately there is no conclusive evidence to date that supports that fact. Quality child care in early childhood can lower the crime rate. The first study of its kind was just published in May of 2010, and the study followed children in a quality child care setting versus children who were not, from the ages of 6 months to 15 years of age. Their findings showed small deviations in the cognitive and language skills of those in a quality care center to slightly higher than the other. The children were only followed to the age of 15, so this study would have to continue to be monitored, these children beyond their age until adulthood, to provide substantial proof of a lower crime rate.